Oh my god, this is so much better. I recorded like a whole bunch of this video only to realize the aperture settings were incorrect and the video was really dark. So now I fixed it and now it's looking a lot better. So let's take two. Anyways, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about just being an LGBT Indian. That's honestly the most succinct way I can put it, because I would be lying if I said that me being an Indian and my culture had nothing to do with why I came out the way I did and why I came out so late in life, because that's a big fat lie. So let's talk about it. The LGBT community in India, and just my hair, and just the LGBT topic is still very taboo in India, despite Section 377 being abolished in September 2018, which is groundbreaking. If you don't know, Section 377 was a law passed by the government that stated that two adults having consensual? It's not the word. It stated that two adults having consensual sex. No, Ananya, word it properly. It stated that two adults of the same sex having consensual sex was a criminal offense. Yes. That was abolished in September 2018. So it's been 2 years, literally 6th of September 2018. So it has been 2 years since it's been abolished. But homosexuality and just LGBT in general is still a very taboo topic. And I feel like because of that, that really affected me coming out as well. Why it took me so long, because I was like, oh, what will people think? Because a lot of Indian adults, by adults I mean men and women who are like my mother and father's age, around that age, I feel like they have the mentality that it's okay if someone else is gay. Oh, her son is gay. Oh, that's okay, we support that. But a lot of adults of their age have the mentality that if someone in their family, their son, their daughter, their close relative was gay, then it's insane and absolutely unacceptable and we cannot support that, which is wrong. Which makes me think, how can you even think like that? That's so hypocritical. And that's the thing, I had that fear with my own parents, despite knowing that my mum is super supportive and always has been since I was literally a child. I still somewhere had that little prick of doubt that she's just saying this to seem accepting and that they're only accepting of other kids being like LGBT, but as soon as, say, their daughter, was to be LGBT, all hell would break loose. You know, that's what I thought, because that's what I've seen in other families. Now, it doesn't have to be a topic on like being LGBT, but even just pursuing careers that their children want to pursue. You know, like they will look around at other people and be like, oh, it's so good that they want to pursue, I don't know, they want to be an artist, they want to be a writer. But then as soon as their child says to them that, hey mum, dad, I think I want to be a writer, then all hell breaks loose and they're like, oh, hell no, you can't, not allowed, how are you going to financially sustain for yourself? And that's what I mean. That really grinds my gears, because in my opinion, if you're going to support something, you have to support it under all circumstances. You can't be picking and choosing at what times you support things and what times you don't support it. That's not how that works. If you support LGBT rights and you support just the LGBT community in general, you need to support it regardless of time, place, location. You know what I mean? You need to support them regardless of anything. I'm basically just repeating myself here. Recently, I wasn't out with them because I was at home, probably sleeping. I probably had work that day and I was just asleep. But they went out. By they, I mean my parents. I totally forgot to mention it, but I actually cut out the little pretext to this story, but they, I mean my parents. A few weeks ago to IKEA, and this is so off topic, but it's not actually. It's not off topic at all. I need to give myself more credit. They were in IKEA and there was a lesbian couple in IKEA, and my mum told me this after and I was a bit worried. I was, oh, what did he say? Is everything okay? By he, I meant my dad. I completely forgot to mention that my dad is who I'm talking about here. Clearly, I had a mental blank when I was making this video. He was completely cool with it. He was just like, okay. And in the car home, my mum asked him like, oh, how'd that make you feel? And he was totally chill with it. He's like, yeah, now I'm just curious to see what Ananya's girlfriend will look like. And I was like, mountains have been moved. We're moving mountains. I was so surprised and just so happy. He's completely accepted it now. Now it's just, I mean, who knew? He did a full 360. He went from not really ever talking to me about it to just being super accepting. Character development. That's what that's called. Anyways, I just needed to share that. I thought that was really nice and I remembered it. That being said, if you guys didn't already know, I was born in India. I moved here when I was 4 years old. So basically all my schooling was done here. And so I wasn't really fully immersed in Indian culture or anything. I was in fact more immersed here and I grew up here. But regardless, I still loved Bollywood movies and I would watch Bollywood movies non-stop. I used to love them. My first film ever was a Bollywood film. It was Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a classic. But you know, I love those films. I literally can watch Main Hoon Na, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, Kal Ho Na Ho, despite it making me cry like an absolute buttload. I can watch those movies at any time, any place. I'll watch it. However, Bollywood movies always portray straight relationships. Up until very recently with movies like Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdhan, which portrayed a gay man, like two gay men falling in love and their parents having to, the tussle between the parents. And movies like Ek Ladki Ko Dekha To Aisa Laga, I don't know why I completely forgot that, but that is literally about a lesbian romantic relationship. Watch it. It was a good movie. I quite enjoyed it. But up until that point, it's only really been straight relationships. And that too, if there was a gay character, it would be a gay man. And he would be so stereotypically gay that you could tell he was gay the second he like walked into the room, you know? I definitely think that somewhere deep down that had affected the way I thought about being gay and why I resented the idea of even being a little bit gay. Like, because I used to think, oh, like it's just not normal. No, like people don't do that. And in the movies, right, the actresses are all stunning and you just sort of think to yourself that all the pretty girls are straight and that all the pretty girls they just have to be straight. So I was like, oh, well, I have to be straight. I mean in the sense that you'd be younger and you'd be wanting to, you'd look at these actresses, especially Bollywood actresses, because Western media at that time, even it's getting heaps better, but like Western media doesn't exactly have solid Asian representation. So it's not like I could turn to a movie from Hollywood and be like, that's who I want to be like. No. So usually it would be Asian like Bollywood actresses that I would look at and be like, that's who I want to be like. They were always straight. And I just remember thinking, guess I just have to be straight. But the thing is, right, I would watch these movies as a child, and this is why I say to people that being gay / being part of the LGBT community is not a choice. I don't just sit here and be like, girls are attractive, I guess I'm a lesbian now. That's not how that works. And I can say that for a fact because when I was younger, I would watch Bollywood movies and I would imagine the plot line with two girls instead of the one guy and the one girl. All the time. I'd be like, oh, what would this movie be like with two actresses, you know, falling in love, like two girls falling in love? How would that be? How would this romantic song where they're dancing in the middle of a desert play out with two girls, two actresses? That's the kind of stuff I used to think about. while watching Bollywood movies. Now I found out that other people just didn't think like that. That was a thing I did. Because I spoke to my mum about it. I was like, have you ever imagined, like, reimagined plot lines with two same-sex actors? And she was like, no, I just watched the movie. You know, that's when I was like, oh, interesting. Hollywood, it always portrays the stereotypical gay character, and they never, ever, 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 the stereotypical gay character is always a gay man. It's never a gay woman. Which was even more why it was like, it's totally absurd for me, a woman, to be gay because gay women don't exist. Literally, that's what it seems like, because if there was a gay character, he was a gay male. It's almost like girls can't have feelings for girls, like, and that's the mentality that I used to have, which is why I just thought I need to find the right guy. And now I don't believe in that. So there we go. The sun is so bright, my god. I spent so long just not being okay with the idea that I found women attractive. Like, it took me so long to become okay with the idea of having to convince conventional relatives of mine, quite traditional Indian family members, that I was gay seems like such a task. It really, really did. It seemed, I remember thinking to myself, like, is it worth it? Like, is it worth having to tell all my family members at the same time and for them to potentially find me disgusting? Like, is that worth it? And then I had to weigh up a lot of pros and cons, and I remember thinking, look, it'll make my life easier, you know? That way I don't have to go around to people constantly explaining myself to them. I don't need to explain myself to anyone, you know? And yeah, I felt like it was harder for me to come to terms with it because, again, it's usually gay men that are portrayed in media. It's usually gay men that you see, you know, they're a bit more accepted, I guess, while still being taboo and people still finding them unacceptable. They're still technically way more accepted than lesbians. Just the word lesbians is so fetishized. But, you know, something that I found really, really interesting was when I was thinking about this topic, I was discussing it with my mom, and I was like, this is why I think this is, and she mentioned a very key fact that I think is not common knowledge for a lot of people, and that is the fact that LGBT themes are so prevalent in the Hindu religion and Hindu mythology. Like, dude, I did some research on this. Now this topic in and of itself, like LGBT themes in Hindu mythology, is like, it's so vast that it's literally a video on its own. So I might make a video on that. I don't know, it depends if you guys are interested, but I'd definitely be interested to tell you more about it, because I was reading a bunch of stuff and I was like, wow, this is so intriguing. But to sum it up, there were like lots of gods and stuff who would change genders, who reportedly had sexy times with other people of the same sex. Like, it was just so much is happening, and it completely blew my mind that a country that can be so, I guess, not so much backwards, but a country where the idea of being gay or LGBT can be seen as so taboo and just not allowed. Man, our religion is super LGBT friendly. If you read if you read articles about it online, you will know that some of the gods that people worship are literally LGBT, in the sense that most of them are transgender, most of them are intersex. A lot of them have same-sex relationships with mere mortals. Like, it's all very prevalent, and I found that so interesting. And then it got me thinking, what changed our perspective? Like, obviously as Indians we would have known that. So like, what made us go, it's wrong? I researched that as well, and turns out it was because of the British colonialization, and then, I meant to say colonization. I honestly feel so stupid. If I say colonialization again in the video, just know I meant colonization. Thanks. These laws, like Section 377, was all imposed by colonialism, which is so interesting to me. So you're saying that prior, like pre-colonial India would have been more accepting of things like that? Like, that's so interesting for me to think about. It's just interesting in and of itself. So I'll probably make a video just detailing Hindu mythology in and of itself and like LGBT themes in Hindu mythology, because as I was reading these articles, my mind was being blown. Literally, like, it's insane. But it just made me think that maybe it was the British colonialism that just kind of fucked it up for all of us. I don't know. That all being said, I am so grateful I'm an Indian. Honestly, I love my culture and I would never replace it for the world. I think it's amazing. I have no complaints. This was not really a complaining video. It was more just a thing that I noticed being Indian and also questioning my sexuality as a fellow Indian. It was just something that I was like, these probably go hand in hand together, and they do. And they did. And I just wanted to talk about that because it was definitely something that I was like, hey, could they relate to each other? Is that why it took me so long? Answer's yes, that is why. Yeah, that's it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to see a video more detailing like the LGBT themes in Hindu mythology, let me know and I'll get around to that, because I think it is so interesting. So I would love to know if you guys would like to see a video on that. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys all next week. Bye.